11 and 14. You was right about one thing too, in the car before I started the class. You was right. I do need some.
It's on live.
Oh, that's what. I need my commission from Uncle Nearest. Nah, brother. Officer Ryan and myself, I'm pretty sure we contributed the majority of those Uncle Nearest cells. Yeah, it's a glorious thing. You know, Jack Daniels is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know who else the devil the Bible speaks of? All of the oppressors. All of the oppressors is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, break a thumb. Yahweh Shemal, Thumb Bashim Yahshua. I am priest and officer of 1,000. You die, hold it down till 12 year General Muhammad gets here. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man. You know, our people just got done celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday. We all know that Martin Luther King was a traitor, was hammered into the ground. But we also got to understand, too, man, it ain't just him. Like, our people have a problem, man, you know what I mean, with wanting to integrate and be, you know what I mean, in the oppressive society. Like, we think we free white in 21, Nicole. We ain't free white in 21. We cannot live the lifestyle of this oppressor. And we think they're going to help us. We think they're going to help us. I saw an article today I buy that said, you know, guess who went to Ebenezer Baptist Church with Martin Luther King? You know what I mean? Well, that was his church. Broadway Joe, Sleepy Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right. He is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And a lot of our people voted for him. Like, you voted for Joe thinking that was going to change and help black people. Like, we thought Obama was going to help black people. You thought Bill Clinton, because he played the saxophone, was going to help black and Latinos, man. Ain't no oppressor, ain't nobody going to help black, Latino, and Native American Indians, man, except for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We are the solution to the problems that plague our communities, man, because the Lord sent his prophets back in 1969. That's right. 1969, man, under command of General Yohanan. We've been holding this down. Like, the Lord ain't with everybody. Like, let me show you who the Lord is definitely not with. God. Now, if I could, give me 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 14.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. It says in no marvel, meaning it should not beguile nobody. You shouldn't even be amazed at what's going on. For Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Who is Satan in this context? The oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now they're the angel of light. Let me tell you something a lot of people probably don't know, especially a lot of blacks and Latinos. Joe Biden, right? His name has been on every minor and major crime bill since 1972, since he got into politics. And the big one that was in 93 and 94, where he said that there's no rehabilitating these people. They're animals. I don't want my children going, you know what I mean, to those schools and those jungles with those cockroaches, referring to black and Latinos, man. Double down with Hillary Clinton when she was calling us super predators. Sleepy Joe, Broadway Joe. But in no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Now he's your angel. Right. Now he's your beacon of hope. Right. And he's going to change things because, hey, Lord Christ, because he got out there and said, I'm sorry for what happened. I'm sorry for the words that I said in 1993 and 4. We have to, you know, move on and grow. I'm going to give you Juneteenth. And stupid blacks and Latinos, hold your point, went for it, and forgave Sleepy Joe. Just like how our Native Indian brothers and sisters forgave the Pope. Like how a lot of you brothers and sisters cried when that whore of a queen died. Because we have Stockholm Syndrome as blacks and Latinos. Right. But we have this love, the undenying love for our slave master, the oppressor. And now they're our angel of light. Now, they can be trusted. They're sorry. You know who you need to forgive? You know who you need to hold some resentment towards? And that's the oppressor.
Right.
And that's these other nations. Like, we're so quick to forgive them and put the past aside. Never forget what happened to our people. That's why we can never forget, you know what I mean, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We can never forget Rosewood. We cannot forget the MOVE movement here in Philadelphia in 1985, where they firebombed a block in West Philadelphia, man. First bombs dropped on American soil was dropped over here in West Philadelphia in 1985, man, on blacks and Latinos. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's why the scripture says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Broadway Joe went from, you know what I mean, being wildly, you know what I mean? And listen, if you think about it, if you got an uncle or a grandpapa or a father or a mother that's in jail right now, you know what I mean, because of that 3 strikes, you can thank Joe Biden for that. But all because he gave a half-assed apology because he needed our votes. Now all of a sudden he's given up. He's now an angel of light. He went down there to Ebenezer Baptist Church for Orgy Mike, you know what I mean? Martin Luther King. Good night, Chris. Went down there to his church and started, you know what I mean, giving more false hope to our people, blacks and Latinos and Native American Indians, man. How long are we going to fall for this? That's why God is saying, for no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. It's talking about Broadway Joe. It's talking about your favorite politician. It's talking about your favorite senator. Keep going.
From God. Verse 15. Therefore, it is no great thing.
And therefore, it ain't no great thing. It's right here. There's no great thing. Keep going.
If his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness.
That his ministers also be transformed into the ministers of righteousness. Who are his ministers? Whatever. True, but be more specific. Who is the oppressor's ministers? Who are his ministers? Who are those that I'm about to give it to you? Go ahead.
Pastors?
That's right. The pastors, your leaders, your imams, they're the oppressor's ministers. Because when Joe wanted to get in office, where did he go? He went to the church. Where does all of your favorite politicians go? They go to the church and they back it. They went down to the church, Chris, and you would think in the church that they would be against murder. I guess not, because your pastor is making it seem like it's all right for sisters to get abortions. That you could just come as you are. Goes to show you why they are not real ministers of God. They are not real prophets of God. The real prophets are here in the ISUPK.
Right.
Under Commander General Hunter. This is where the real prophets are. So it is no light thing that his ministers also be transformed into the ministers of righteousness. Now, you got T.D. Jakes. You got Creflo Dollar. Like, Creflo told you what he was about with his name. And then came out and admitted that he was wrong about tithes. When we've been saying that he's been wrong about everything since what? Since he started preaching? Since he became a pastor?
Right.
All of them are crooks, man. But now, Satan's minions, now his minions, his ministers, now they're angels just like him. Angels and ministers of righteousness. When the Christian church is a real satanic place.
Right.
You know, where, you would think, right, if I told you, if I described for you something, if I told you there was a place that had corruption, sexual deviancy, grand larceny, you know what I mean? You would think I'd be talking about the Mob, the Sopranos, Oz. I'm talking about the church that's on the corner of every ghetto in Barrio.
Right.
There ain't no, listen, you want to see like high level extortion? You want to see corruption at the highest level and sexual deviancy and molestation? It's in the Christian church.
Right.
And just like the mob, just like, you know what I mean, whatever mafioso or gangsters that you look up to today, they cover it up. They cover it up. That's why the Lord said, Chris, give me Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1. This is why the Lord said this. This is why your pastors, and when I say your pastor, I'm talking about your pastor. I'm talking about Reverend Get 'em while they're young. I'm talking about Deacon Dick 'em down. I'm talking about all them. Because they are not real prophets of God. They serve somebody else. I buy a whole John 8, the 8th chapter. You know what I want, of your father, the devil. Lord Christ, Nabal. Understand this, man. Understand this. And the scripture is about to explain, man. The Lord about to explain it right here. Go ahead, young man Chris.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Woe be unto the pastors.
Woe be unto the pastors, meaning destruction be unto your pastor, your minister, your deacon. Destruction be unto him. You know why destruction has to come to him? Because they have lied to our people. They tell our people that God loves everybody, and that is not true. Like, you know how detrimental it is? Think about it. To go into that church and to be told that God loves the people that rape and murder and destroy us daily. God, you know what I mean? You mean to tell me, right? The same people that believe them coming over here and committing mass genocide and rape on the North American Indian and Seminole Indian, the tribes of Gad and Reuben, they call it them manifesting their destiny. When it was really the rape and genocide of God's people, man. That's why your pastor justifies that. Oh, God loves them too. Doesn't God love the Seminole Indian? Right. Doesn't God love the First Nation man and woman? Doesn't God love the Mexican, the Guatemalan, the El Salvadorian? Doesn't God love the Colombian? Doesn't God love the West Indian, the Trinidadian, the Jamaican, the Negro in America, the Haitians and Dominicans? Don't God love us? In reality, in that church, it's about them justifying their love for the oppressor, while at the same time teaching us to hate ourselves. Because you go there and find all the good Christian love and forgiveness for the oppressor, but you don't know how to go in there and learn to be a better brother to your brother, to be a better sister to your sister. Go ahead, Nicole.
If I could, like, I was watching this show called Greenleaf. Like,
I've seen it.
Yeah, like Greenleaf, basically, the Christian church is so polluted that everything that goes on in the Christian church was on that show. Like the reverend was having infidelities with the church goers, down to the children being, drug addicts and whores and stuff like that, and homosexuality out to the church, and people, they got to bring up the death. Like, that's Christianity.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere in the Bible where it tells you to do those things that the Christian church does.
Listen, you left out the big one too, Nakar. The other big one, when Keith David on the second episode was like, with that voice he got, oh, this is the prestige section. This is where our 20K and 40K tithes payers sit. The auditor came in there and asked to see the money. He was like, I ain't got to show y'all shit. Salakia. And you thought Al Capone was a gangster. You thought, that your favorite rapper, is the hardest nigga or a pimp. Let me tell you something. Your pastor is just as corrupt or more. Just as corrupt or more. And they're responsible for that. Because it's like it says, I believe in John, the 10th chapter, where it says, where Christ said, I am the good shepherd. You know what I mean? And then you have the hireling who sees the wolf coming and flee. The wolf came after us, man. And the hireling, who is the pastor, your deacons, your reverends, they abandoned us, man. Sold us out to the oppressor. That's why they're not fit to lead blacks and Latinos, man. Because every time something happens, what do? The first thing they do is blame us. Blame us. And it's something so heavy. One of the first things I learned in here, was brotherhood and sisterhood. And what was so beautiful, right, about it, it comes with correction. And with that correction comes correcting the problems that plague our communities. You know what I mean? The gang violence. You know what I mean? All the molestation, all the selling of drugs and using drugs. We are correcting the problem in every hard ghetto, every barrio, all across the earth where blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are. That's why destruction has to come to your pastor, because they perpetuate the same wickedness. While we're fixing the problem, they're trying to keep it going. And when I say keep it going, they're trying to keep the cash flow going. Because, and this is sad, Nakar, Them keeping us in perpetual sin makes them money. It's profitable, you know what I mean, for them to keep Israel, you know what I mean, in iniquity and sin. And we know sin is transgression of the law, 1 John 3 and 4.
Right.
Matthew 5 and 17 says Christ said the law ain't done away with. Think not that I've come to destroy it. So why do they perpetuate it? Because they have to keep it going. That's why when you read, right, you know, when we do the announcements after class, when we read, you know what I mean, like Ma'ashura, you know, tithes, like in Malachi, the 3rd chapter, like when it says, will a man rob God? I think Creflo pop up in my head every time, Chris, in the Bible. I think about that, brother. It says, will a man rob God? That pastor be like, nah, brother. nah, brother. They do it. They do it. That's why. Allah wapa ya.
Barak.
Allah shimmy out shop rock it up.
Clap it up. Right. Appreciate it. You have that the tapes I sent you about Silence of the Lambs last week. Did I send you that?
I don't think you did, sir. Silence of the Lamb.
Yeah,
I can check my messages, sir.
if you don't mind.
Go.
Am I centered right here? I seem off. Should I move? Or you can move the camera, either one.
We're good.
It seems a little low too.
What's up?
Better. All right. Let me send you this one. This is for that mass shooting that happened today, all right?
Go.
Stand by. Let me just send over to your diary these videos and I'll get your questions. I know you're holding on to them. I'll get your questions online, on Clubhouse, and in the room, all right? Do I need to move up or am I centered? All right. I'm fine, Warrior. Okay. Let me get these for you. One more thing. All right. Who the hell? Oh, I remember. Oh. Okay. Okay. I appreciate it. Well, no, not tonight. The weather. Okay. Solid questions. I'll take them in the room. Any questions in the room? Any questions online? That includes Clubhouse. All right. So let me get my Spanish together. Second. You die every week, Aga. If I forget the Spanish, Aga, you gotta let me know, okay? To make up for it, I gotta do it at the beginning and at the end.
You do have a question, sir.
All right. Second, before you give it to me, hold on.
Come.
Nosotros somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Como enseñamos. No, I'm sorry. Hold up 1 second. That's the wrong one. Bear with me 1 second. That word didn't sound right. But is it right? Hold on. Comments. Yeah. Okay, this is the right one. My apologies. Again, somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal desde 1 Oeste, calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York, bajo el mando del general Yahana desde el 1969. Carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres español, negro o indio nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo, el lirio de Dios. All right, let's get it. Questions?
Concert. Sister said, Shalom, please, can I please get a breakdown of 1 Peter 2 and 11 to 13?
Let's get it. 1 Peter 2 and 11 to 15. Is that what you said?
2:13, sir.
All right. I think some brother texted me and said I was saying one of those words wrong. I think elidio or chosen people or chosen. If I'm anyone that speaks Spanish fluently, let me know if I'm saying that word wrong. All right. You got it up.
Oh God. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 11. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers.
He did say it. Eladio, like elephant. Eladio. Eladio. All right, that's the proper way to say it. Remind me at the end of class, all right? Go ahead.
Oh God. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, and verse 11. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims.
Mm-hmm.
Abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul.
Why is the Bible saying, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims? Because he's speaking to people who are living where? What book is this written in? Peter. Peter was writing this book to the brothers and sisters who were being called Gentiles, scattered throughout Rome, Ephesia, Thessalonica, all the different Greek and Roman islands. And he's saying, you are strangers and pilgrims. Why? Because you're wandering here in this strange land, but you're here for a purpose. You're here to fulfill God's will and then to go back home. And that's the key to living in America, to living in Mexico, Haiti, Guatemala, the UK, Brazil. The key is to be in the world, but not of it. That's the key. Be in the world and not of it. The mistake that we make because of the influence of the Christian church, the Christian church normalizes your environment. The environment that you live in, the Christians help you to suit yourself to that environment. When if you're going to serve the Most High God, sister or brother or sister, you're going to have to be in the world, but not of the world. Everyone understands. So I beseech you as strangers. Why? Because they're not from here. They're from Israel. Their people come from Israel. Your people come from Asia, from the continent of Asia, and from the Middle East. But you're here in Philadelphia. You're here in New York. You're here in Birmingham. You're here in London. You're here in Tijuana, right? But that's not your land. So I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from what?
From fleshly lust.
From fleshly lust. What is a fleshly lust? Something that God said not to do, but your body wants to do. Now, if you think about that, all you need then is to know what God said not to do. That's in the Bible. You need that first. And then the things that you want to do are things that your flesh wants, but God does not want. Pause right there for 1 second. Oh, boy. You put ice in this one, big brother. Help me out. Just give me that straight up if you don't mind, all right? Salaki. Go ahead, read it one more time.
Oh God. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims. Abstain from fleshly lust.
Abstain from fleshly lust. What's a fleshly lust? Homosexuality, or I don't know if I can even say that without getting cut the hell off. Go ahead. Eating pork. Good enough. Eating pork, eating shrimp, eating crab, sexual deviances, alternative lifestyles. That's probably the thing that I can say, right? Alternative lifestyles. these are things that your body wants, but that God does not want. It's just that simple, Lock. And listen, and to make it that simple is how you save your life. Because obeying your body is how you die. Your body doesn't want you to live. Your body wants to be satisfied. Your spirit wants you to live. The you that's in this body, the you that God gave you, that wants to live. But your body, brother, just wants to be satisfied. It's just hungry. It's just thirsty. And the problem is, demons can decide what you're hungry for, right? Child molesters do it every day. A child molester molests you at a young age, molests you, sexualizes you to his preference, not to yours. You're a child. You don't have a sexual preference. You are just a mind that's easily molded. You are at a young and impressionable age. But his preference is an alternative lifestyle. So now your uncle or some football coach or a boxing coach like Mike Tyson when he was molested, or 1,000 different coaches and Boy Scout leaders and Catholic priests and reverends and choir directors, they impose their sexual desire on you. So now you're a child, the Water Warrior. They molest you. So now your body wants it again. That's it. And sexual desire, brother, is like food. It's, you really just want to eat what you've already eaten. You understand? That's all you're looking for in life. That's why when you grow up, you love cheese and milk and cheeseburgers and cheese everything. Because what'd you have when you were a baby? Take a guess. Milk. You had milk. That was your first thing that tasted good. Now, as an adult, you want cheese this, cheese that, burger this, cheeseburger that, milky this, creamy that. Why? Because you had it. You had that before. And then at some young age, you tasted something that tasted good. Now, as a grown man, that's what you're hungry for. Well, that's sexual desire in so many different ways. Someone decides what they will do to you. You'll feel it, and then you will want it again and again and again, but not because you are wired this way or this is how God made you, but this is what you've had before. And you can do the same thing with prostitutes or sluts. So many brothers are so attracted to sluts, and they have to have sluts because the first girl you were ever with, in many cases, was a slut because she was the girl in school that would have sex with you in the bathroom or on the stairwell or have sex with you and 5 of your friends in the back of some car. So now, since you had that before, you as a grown man, you want it again. You want it again. Your body wants it. And other people can decide what your body wants. They'll choose what your body wants. Like you want pork. Why do you want pork? You think it's strange? They don't want pork in Saudi Arabia. You understand? They're not hungry for pork every day in Kuwait. You get my point? Why? Because they don't eat it. They've never had it. So they don't want it. Now, they do want camel over there. And you don't want camel here in North Philly or wherever we at, right? You don't have an urge like, damn, I could really use some camel. Man, I would love some seal meat. I could sure use some whale blubber. You don't have any desire for that. I've never in all my life gotten in a whale blubber battle. That's a tongue twister up. I have not been in a whale blubber battle because I don't battle in Greenland and in Iceland. Do you understand? You just want what you've had. That's why all of your battles are going to be about pork, every last one. Because you just want what you had. That's it. Your body wants it because it has it. Other people can decide what your body wants. The pork industry and the TV and the restaurants, they'll decide what your body wants because they'll get your mother to give you bacon at a very young age. Everyone understands. Please, you die.
I was going to say, sir, what you bring out is so heavy, sir, because even, you know what I mean, when the guys and Reuben and Issachar was over here, when they came here, pigs was not indigenous to America.
Forget
they
about
brought them over, and now you go. I was looking at this documentary. Like there's certain parts of Texas, sir, where this wild hog just running rampant, like destroying everything. They pay you to kill them.
Forget about it. Leave them right there on the side of the road. Yes, hogs were brought here by the so-called white man to sustain him in that trip across the ocean, and then he just pushed them on everybody else. One question, Doc. This is not tonic water. Whoever knows this. Nakar, this is not tonic water right here in this cup, brother. We're having a rough night tonight. Let's get it together. All right? This stops the whole class. Before you know it, I got to go home. Anyway, reading on. Where are we at now? Go ahead.
This is verse 12, sir. This is the question.
Please.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, and verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles.
Having what?
Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles.
All right. Why? Because you are among these Gentiles, right? You're living in Philadelphia, New York, and Venezuela, right? So as you're there, you don't want to now be some lustful bastard. You don't want to molest their children, steal from them, sleep with their women. You don't want to cheat them out of money. How in the hell can you represent Christ if you can't obey God and let other people see that you obey God? And how in the hell can you be any prophet to the work of the Most High God? You cannot. You're not from there. This is not your land. But you are in this land. And you want to develop a good reputation by not being led by your lust. You think you are a crackhead, and in any way someone will want you to break the truth down to them? Never. Who in the hell wants to listen to you? Imagine you trying to teach somebody the truth. You're sitting there getting high. They know you're getting high. They see your black lips and you stink like weed. And then what are you trying to break down Jeremiah the 14th chapter to them? Forget you, man. Who in the hell is listening to you? Some of them will suffer you and just let you, oh, really? That's heavy. Oh, that's good. You really are wild. You smart. You smart. And they're never, ever going to obey you or look at you with any reverence because you're a drug addict. Someone's celebrating Christmas and New Year's Eve saying, one day I'm going to stop. That's what the drug addicts love to say you die. When they're trying to teach the truth to somebody in the world. Listen, this shit I'm doing ain't right. But I'm going to stop doing this one day. But I'm telling you, these brothers, they got the truth. Well, you don't. So what in the hell are you talking to me for? You're going to have to not be a lustful bastard. You're going to have a good reputation with these Gentiles. Who are Gentiles? Israelites who are living like Gentiles. Right. The Gentiles in the truth, the Israelites in the truth, called Israelites who acted like Gentiles, Gentiles. Everybody understands. All right. Anything else?
She wanted to verse 13. Sir.
What verse are we in now?
We're in the middle of verse 12, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may be your good works.
All right. Whereas, meaning because you don't do anything foul and disgusting and unlawful to them, whereas they speak against you as evildoers, why? They're going to say you're a cult. They're going to say you're a hate group. That's exactly what they said about our king. Marvel not when men shall hate you, for yea, they have hated me first. So they're going to hate you simply because you follow Christ, but they won't ever be able to say that you're a sinner. They won't ever be able to say that you did something against the Bible to them. Everybody understands. That's what you have to have in the truth. They're already going to call us nuts and a cult, and the FBI follow my dumb ass all around the damn airport, everywhere, and all around different cities. But they'll never be able to say I murdered somebody, that I stole from somebody, that I sold drugs, or that I give me something else that people do. That I slept with somebody's woman. Oh, that I'm not doing. I'm not committing crime. They'll just have to watch me go from house to house having sex with 4 women. That's it. Everybody understands. Keep going.
Which they shall behold.
Which they shall behold. They shall watch it. Go ahead.
Glorify God in the day of visitation.
Glorify God in the day of visitation. What's the day of visitation? When the Most High visits you. Now it's time to pay. Now it's time to be tested. Is that her question, or do I need more?
One more verse.
Go ahead.
Verse 13. Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake.
Here we go. You're in this strange land. You're in, some Mexican city, some Puerto Rican city, some American city, or, you get my point. You want to submit yourselves to the ordinances of man. This entire verse is telling you how to live in your slave master's land. That's what this is about. You want to avoid lust, which shows you that the Christians are not following this, because you have to avoid lust if you're living in your slave master's land. And Christians do not avoid lust. They embrace it. You're also going to have to be of good reputation to the people in that land. Christians don't do that because they molest your children. They have a terrible reputation. Catholic Church. I did some research on how many Catholic churches are shut down all around the country because they couldn't keep the churches open and pay off all of the child molestation lawsuits. And they're all over the country closed down. Well, they have a terrible reputation, but they're not a hate group, though. No one calls them a cult, right? They're not in some magazine saying that they're a cult, that they're some type of evil group, but they do have so many child molestation cases that they have to close down. Everyone understands. Read that last part again.
Okay. Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man.
So what's an ordinance of man? A law of man. Driving under 65 miles per hour. Give me something else that is not God's ordinance, but it's man's ordinance. Taxes. Paying your taxes. Give me that precept in Matthew 17 about taxes, about the fish. I believe it's in Matthew 17. Give me another ordinance. You have one?
Clean up for your dog.
Clean up after your dog. No littering, which is disgusting anyway, to be somebody that litters and throws trash on the ground in someone else's neighborhood, in front of someone else's house. It shows you're a selfish bastard. You want to have a good reputation, so you don't want to do things like that. You understand? You keep these rules set up by man, not because you care about man, but because you care about the reputation that is built on what you do that Christ will have to live with. He'll have to accept the reputation that you give him based on your behavior. Man, that's UPK 1 West, man. That's how we live. People hate us for one thing, our discipline to the laws of God under Jesus Christ. But they do not hate us for anything else, not for one other thing. And I pray you understand that you won't ruin that. You will never come into this school and now they hate us because we don't take our kids to the doctor. They're not going to hate us for that. You're going to take your children to the doctor because you refuse to get your child a COVID vaccination when the city said you have to get your child a vaccination. If you want to kill your child, you can't do it in here. I know you want your child to die. I know that. But you're not allowed to kill him in here. In here, he's going to get vaccinated. He's going to go to school. He's going to eat every meal he needs to eat. He's going to have food security. He's going to be treated well in here. Everybody understands. No one will hate us because you starve your child to death and you make him fast 7 days a week and you don't get him vaccinated and you don't want to put him in the white man's school or send him to the white man's doctor or let him eat the white man's food out the refrigerator, then you have to leave here because you're not going to kill a child in this school. Some of you dumb bitches out there, you want to hate women and fight women in the UPK because they sleep with your man or they want to sleep with your man. You're not doing that in here. This is not the love and hip hop. That's not this place. You want to fight other women over a boy, go back to grade school, you stupid, stupid bitch. You cannot do that in here. You can't be ignorant in this school. You want to fight over a boy, then you have to go back to church and fight over a boy. Or really, you need a time machine because you're 47. So you need to go back to 8th grade where you can fight over boys. In here, you can't fight another sister over a boy. Not in here. You have to leave here if that's the kind of stupid, immature, ignorant bitch you are. Does everyone understand? These things, this is how we obey the ordinances of man. You can't assault someone. Assaulting someone is illegal. You get my point? You can't go out and get in bar fights. Some of you brothers, you think you can be a stinking, dirty drunk, pissy drunk, get in bar fights, get arrested, the cops beat you up, and you think you can stay in here with us? You cannot. You cannot be in here with us. If you're someone that the cops have to control, then God doesn't control you. And you have to leave here because can you imagine the news coming out and seeing you getting arrested in a UPK cover? Tell them to keep you. Don't ever get out. Don't ever let me see you again because let's move on. Anything else? Go ahead.
For submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake.
For what sake?
For the Lord's sake.
Submit yourself to the ordinances of man for the Lord's sake. Give me the precept in Matthew 17. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 17 and verse 24.
Matthew 17 and 24, everyone.
And when they were come to Capernaum, that they received tribute money, came to Peter and said,
They that received tribute money. In Capernaum, it's a Greek city at that time, right? They that received tribute money. So these were the people that collected the tribute money. Everybody understand? So they came into the city. The people who collect tribute money went to Peter and said this. Go ahead.
Doeth not your master pay tribute?
Doesn't your master pay tribute? I see you're here in this city. I see you came with this man. You work for him. You're here working for him. Doesn't your master pay tribute money? Think of tribute money like taxes or tolls on a toll road, right? Think about that. You pay a toll whenever you go to New York or you come to Philadelphia or wherever you are. That's tribute money. You're paying to come into the city. Everybody understands, right? Keep going.
He said, yes.
He said, yes, my master pays tribute money. Yes, meaning Jesus Christ pays tribute money. Keep going. He pays tolls. If he goes into a city, he pays the toll to go into that city. Everyone understands. I'm sorry, Nakar.
So, it was tolls back then?
Forget about it. The world is just the same, just with greater technology, but nothing is different. Everything is the same, just with greater technology. Absolutely, you pay the toll. Right? They had these arches, some of them up on the wall, these arches that you had to go through the arch to get into the city. They have one in France today that still lasts. They call it the Victory Arch in France. Everyone had to go under this arch. Someone was standing there under that arch to get money from you as you came into that city. So paying a toll to get into a city is extremely old. And by boat as well. You will pay the same thing by boat. All right. Someone else had a hand up. Keep going.
Sir. He said, yes. And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him.
So when he came into the house, Jesus stopped him. When he walked in, now he said this while he met with this guy who collects toll money, or tax is a bad word for it because that's something on which you make. A toll is a better description of what this was, because they came into the city of Capernaum, and because they came into the city, they had to pay. You get the point. So a toll is the right way to think about that. So then when he came into the house, Christ stopped him. Keep going. You died. Oh, I'm sorry. Someone take it for you died. Go ahead.
Saying, what thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom for tribute?
He said, what do you think, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Custom is an amount of money that you pay because it's the custom of this city to pay it. That's why you're paying. It's their custom. They make everyone pay who comes into the city. So you're paying it because it's their custom, and it's tribute to the governor or the mayor or whoever is in charge of this city. This money is going to him for him to decide what to do with it. So ask that question again. Same thing.
What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute?
Mm-hmm.
Of their own children or of strangers?
Do they take custom or tribute of their own children or of strangers? Meaning, do the people in Capernaum have to pay a toll? Or does Capernaum charge people who are not from Capernaum who come and travel to their city? Who pays the toll? Keep reading.
Verse 26. Peter saith unto him, of strangers.
Of strangers, meaning the people from this city charge strangers. Whoever comes into this city who is not from this city, you have to pay to come into this city, right? But they don't charge this price to the people who live there. The people that live there don't have to pay this price. They only charge it to people like us who are not from here. We're traveling to this city. But the people in Capernaum, they don't have to pay this price because they're the children of the city. They charge it to strangers. Keep going.
Yahweh shall say unto him, then are the children free?
Read that again.
Yahweh shall say
Well, Peter's answer was no, they don't. If you're not a stranger to that city, you don't have to pay this. Only the people who don't come from the city. Then Christ said, then are the children free. Because the children in the city don't have to pay it, they're free. The strangers pay it. They're free. Christ is trying to show Peter how his people are in slavery because their children, and it's their city, it's in their land in Jerusalem, and they pay. They pay the Romans tribute. They pay the Romans custom. That means they're in slavery. He's trying to show you how different it is in Capernaum. If you go to Capernaum, some white city, the people that live there don't have to pay this price. Now go back to Jerusalem. Go to Nazareth. It's their city, but they pay the Romans. They give them money. This is revolutionary, Christ breaking this down. He's showing, just like if you went to a white neighborhood, and you said, well, Dan, the people in this white neighborhood, they don't have to go through that. They're not paying that. They're not being treated like that. And you go back to your neighborhood and you're being treated like garbage. Well, the people in that white neighborhood, they're free and we're not free. And Christ was trying to show Peter how free they are in Capernaum so Peter can understand back in his home, we're in slavery. Do you understand? All right, good to go. Now keep reading. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Verse 27. Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea, and cast an hook, and take up the fish that first cometh up.
Right now? When we break. Okay, just remind me. One more time.
Verse 27. Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them.
Notwithstanding, we're not from here, so we don't want to offend them. So Christ said, we're going to pay the money. We're going to pay this custom. We're going to pay this tribute because we're not from here. We don't want to offend them. What did Christ do right there? He kept the ordinances of man. He didn't do it for man, but he did it for God. He did it for his reputation. Everybody understands. And so you can't be a criminal and be in the UPK. You can't be a town drunk who gets arrested every week. You can't beat your wife. You imagine that you beating the hell out of your wife. Why? Because you're drunk and depressed, sad because you don't have any job, sad because mad at her because she has a big mouth. Go get another woman. Why beat your wife when you can just leave there and go get another woman? That's real revenge on the loudmouth bitch. Go get another woman. You sitting there punching the broad in the damn head. All she's going to do is call the cops. You're going to jail, and then you are going to beg her to drop the charges. You're going to be begging while you beating her to death. Smack, smack, smack. But you don't listen to me. And then when the cops come, babe, can I talk to you? Babe, can I talk to you for a second? Babe, listen, I'm going to lose my job. Can you just tell them that you fell? And then she'll sit there, well, I don't know, because are you going to be different? Now you got to negotiate. Now you got to make all these promises. You're going to leave that girl alone. When you could just not hit her, let her run her mouth, and sit there and think, I'm going to get some of Tazariot new oil. And he got some good oil out there that the sisters like. Go ahead and tighten this hair braid up a taste. Let me get out there and get another wife that will have me in honor. That's not illegal. It is not illegal to get another woman. I pray you understand that. Reading on. Next. Come on. Go ahead.
Why was it designed for the body and the spirit to go at war with each other?
Say that one more time.
Why was it designed for the body, the flesh, and the spirit to go at war?
You mean, why did the Most High allow it? Is that what you mean by the design? For reward. That's why, for reward. This is a hard concept if you think that things should be given to you without work. Right? That is not how life works here. There isn't an animal that exists that doesn't work for what it eats and drinks. It's like asking the lion, well, why does the deer have to run so fast? Why is that designed? Why does this deer, I'm a lion, I got to eat meat. The deer, his food doesn't run. The deer, his grass is sitting right there on the ground. All he does is put his head down and eat. That's it. But I'm a lion, and for me to eat, I got to run fast as hell and catch this damn deer. Why don't they just slow down so I could eat it? Well, because then unworthy lions would get meals they don't deserve. See, in this process, only the strong lions get to eat up. The weak lions die. They don't get to make baby lions. They're dead because they don't run, because they can't take down that buffalo. So they're dead. So who breeds? Strong lions breed. Weak lions die because they don't eat, which means they don't breed. Everyone understands. That's life here, warrior. So if you want, what do you want? You know, to rule the planet Earth? I'm assuming that's what you want. You want a crown on your head. I'm assuming that. You want all of the virgins that the Most High God gives a man. Is that what you want? You want gold? You want silver? You want castles? How many territories would you like to preside over or rule over? All of them. Well, that's a worthy goal. That's a very one West goal. What you just said. Give him a hand. All of them. Well, to rule over every province and every territory, you're going to have to fight for that. You're going to have to fight for that. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Also, so we'll be going live Black Watch tonight, 9 p.m. We also going to be live on Cross the Line Radio and the online classes.
Tonight we're going to be, are we on Cross the Line now?
Live. So we're going to be 9 p.m. Black Watch Management House. We're going to be on Cross the Line as well as Black Watch.
Oh, Cross the Line. I got you. So, okay, what am I missing? Tonight we're going to be on Cross the Line and Black Watch. Tonight. And Clubhouse. Done. Everybody gets it, all right? Where are we at now?
Sir, brother said, Salaki, sir, I'm taking a college course in theology, and the professor said today that Jesus was God who died for us, and he used Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8 to 10 to back it up. May I have a general breakdown?
No sweat, let's go.
Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't even know how this relates to Jesus being God or Jesus not being God. Am I missing something?
I think it might be nine.
Okay, go ahead.
For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead body.
Oh, that's the one. I got you. I remember this now. The Godhead bodily. The Godhead is the power structure. First of all you need is to look up God. The term God means power. He is the power, or Alahayim in the Hebrew, right? Which is what you can look up and cut this professor if you want, if that's how you want to do it. God means power. Head, the head of the department, the head of state, the head of the police department. The head is talking about who's in charge. What is Godhead? The power structure. What is the power structure bodily? Read it one more time. I'll explain. See me one more time with the chase, please, out in the car.
Colossians chapter 2 verse 9. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead.
In him what?
All the fullness.
No, in him.
Dwelleth. For
No,
in him dwelleth.
I'm sorry, read it one more time. From in him.
Colossians chapter 2 verse 9. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead body.
Christians take this scripture is saying that in Christ dwelleth the full power structure of God. It's all in him. Christians take that to mean Jesus is God. So he's the Son, he's the Holy Spirit, he's all of them wrapped in one man. And that comes from Greek philosophy. But of course, what else is part of the power structure? Who knows? What is part of the Godhead? The men. What they call in the Bible, the bishops and the deacons, what we call in the UPK, the Ottawans, right, and the servants, or the troopers, or the men under him. What is it? What else is in the Godhead? Women would be in the Godhead. How do you know women are in the Godhead? Because it's in the Bible in Hebrews, the 11th chapter, right? For God is the what? Read it one more.
That's about who first Corinthians.
Mhm. Women are in the Godhead, and of course, Jesus Christ is not a woman and can't have children. So the Godhead is just God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. I don't know about that because you got men in the Godhead and you have women in the Godhead as well. Go ahead and read it.
Good. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every
The what of every, the what?
the head,
The what?
head,
One more time.
head.
One more time. Philosophy. What's his name?
1 Corinthians,
Theology professor. The what?
head
The head. Go ahead.
of every man
Of every man. The head of every man. Go ahead.
is Christ.
Is Christ. Christ is the head. He's in charge of every man. Keep going.
And the head of the woman,
Of the what?
woman,
The what of the woman?
head,
The head of the woman
is the man.
is the man. Is the woman in the Godhead? Absolutely. The head of the woman is the man. Keep going.
And the head of Christ is God.
Is God. Well, is the woman inside of Jesus? Is she in him? That doesn't make much sense. I can't quite understand that. Come on.
Christ can't be God. Christ's head is God.
Yeah, come on now. Christ can't be God if Christ has a head, which is God. How could he be God? Let me give you the real answer. When it says that in him fully is the Godhead, meaning if you want to know how to be in charge, this is who you learn how to be in charge from, because it's all in him.
Right.
He can teach you how to be a father, which is a head of a family, right? The head of the household. He can teach you how to be in charge of an operation. If you're head of the sign department or head of the food program, he can teach you how to do that. He can teach a woman how to be a mother. He can do that as well. And that because that woman has children and those children have to obey that woman. He can teach her how to be a mother. He can teach her how to be a good older sister. If you want to know how to be in charge, how to have authority that God recognizes as right, you can learn it from him because it's all in him. All of it. It doesn't mean that there are three beings inside of his body, like a science fiction movie. That's what you learn from the Catholic Church. But they molested your son, so they can't be right all the time, right? They can't always be telling the truth because they did molest your kids. Read it one more time. I'll break it down. I think, unless I already did. Go ahead.
Sir. Colossians chapter 2, verse 9. For in him dwelleth all fullness of the Godhead body.
The Godhead is the power structure. Who's in charge? It's all in him, meaning he can teach all of the heads how to be right with God. Of course, God is his head. So he can't be all in one with God because he has a boss as well. So you cut him with 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. All right. And a woman is in this Godhead as well because she's in charge of children. Everybody understands. God has power structure. Christ can teach every authority figure how to be absolutely everything that they should be according to God. That's what this is. Your leaders are terrible because they don't follow Christ. They're awful. They follow their own gut like Martin Luther King. Give me Jackie Kennedy talking about Martin Luther King. Do you have that? Oh, my goodness. Who knows who Jackie Kennedy is? She was John Kennedy's wife. Now, this is a video from when she was around. Get it from Mashak. Okay, it was a video from when she was around after her son, John Kennedy, her husband, John Kennedy, was killed. And they asked her at this time, what do you think of Martin Luther King? Let's hear what she said about it. Martin Luther King did not follow the Godhead. He did not follow Christ. He was not a leader or an authority figure the way God wanted an authority figure to be. He was just a lustful pig. That's that. Everybody understands. When you get the Jackie Kennedy thing, let me know. Shalom. Come on.
So, like, I just wanted to know, you said
Yep. All right. You got it. You know where to start from.
It's a 7 minute.
I got to get my topic too in a minute. It's a 7-minute video. We don't need to play all of that. I'll tell you real fast where to start from. Any other questions online, a clubhouse, or blah, blah, blah?
Concert. One brother wanted to know.
You start at 400. You have the video, right?
I have it, sir.
400. Go ahead. Mhm. Pause it. Can everyone hear this? Let me know if did everyone hear what you just said? You heard it, sis? Play it one more time. Someone gave me some already. I'm not sure we have it, but they did give it to me. The water. Try it again now. Pause it. Maybe this is too distorted for me to play in class. Can anyone hear what she just said? No go? All right, we got to play it online. You played online. She's just talking about Martin Luther King and what she thought when she heard that tape of him having sex with those men and women in an orgy. Martin Luther King was in the group sex, y'all. Orgies. He had an orgy. Jackie Kennedy heard the video. She's talking about it right the year that it happened. Try it one more time. See if you can turn it down a taste. Maybe that can. It's not written on the screen right now. Turn it down a little bit.
I do know what he thought of him later. Well, he said what an incredible speaker he was during that freedom march. And, you know, he acknowledged that having made that call during the campaign got them. And he told me he would tape that the FBI had of Martin Luther King when he was here for the freedom march. And he said this with no bitterness or anything. How he was calling up all these girls and arranging for a party, men and women, and he sort of an orgy in the hotel and everything.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And at first he said, oh, you know, and I said, oh, but Jack, that's so terrible. I mean, that man was, such a phony then. No, this wasn't good. This was when there was just one girl when he had the conversation. And Jack said, oh, well, he would never judge anyone in any sort of way.
Pause. She said, but Jack, this guy's such a phony. And meanwhile, her husband was probably at the party having sex too. John Kennedy, he liked orgies as well. He had sex with Marilyn Monroe, who was having sex with a mafia boss at the exact same time. So he talking like, hey, there's no big deal because he was into it as well. He was no different than Martin Luther King, John Kennedy. And your grandmother, when I went to my grandmother's house back in the 80s, every black grandmother had John Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and the white picture of Jesus on the wall together. Two people on that. Oh my God. All three people on the wall were in the orgies. That white Jesus also was in the orgies. 3 sexual deviants. White Jesus, John F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King. Brother, I grew up seeing that picture in North Philly. I grew up seeing that picture. All 3 of them sexual deviants. All of them. That's your leader? Those are your leaders. That's how you learn authority. Well, in Christ dwelleth the Godhead bodily. Meaning, if you want to know how to be a mother, how to be the leader of men, how to represent anything in any way to lead your people, you can learn it from God. To lead your family, you can learn it from Jesus Christ, who got it from God. He'll give it to husbands. He'll give it to department heads. He'll give it to mayors and governors. He'll give it to preachers and presidents, but they don't want it. But he can give it to them. Martin Luther King had no use for God's morality. He had no use for what Jesus Christ taught a man. She said the Freedom March. You heard it. Did you hear her say that? I'm thinking nobody knows what in the hell I'm talking about, as usual. The Freedom March is, I have a dream, black girls and white girls. The night of that march is what she's talking about. The night of the Freedom March, he got on the phone, brother, and had the biggest orgy in the world in Washington, D.C. That night, she just said it. Do I need to rewind? Who did not hear her say the night of the Freedom March? Raise your hand. Well, then you all heard it. The night of the Freedom March, he got on the phone and called men and women for an orgy at the Watergate Hotel. An orgy, that's what he had. And you sitting there making statues to him and loving him and hugging white people, white murderers, all in honor to him. He was a sexual deviant and he loved group sex. He loved to have sex when other men were around. When other men, naked men, were in the room. That's your leader, no problem. All right, I got to go. All right, anything else? Go ahead.
Brothers and Shalom, Adonai, Lord of Christ. Who are the Nicolaitans in Revelations 2 and 6?
Get in your Bible dictionary, the Nicolaitans. I'll explain them in 1 second. Give it to them in Revelations, and then I'll explain. All right? This is talking about one of the schools. Our King Jesus Christ chastised the 7 angels who were in charge of the 7 churches or the 7 schools scattered throughout Asia Minor. These are the schools that the Apostle Paul built. And so he's going to them and telling the angels, listen, your school is doing some good things, but your school is also doing some bad things. That's true to this day, man. These schools set up, the commanding General Yohana set up all throughout the goddamn world. Some of these schools have great qualities. Some of these schools have bad qualities. And major council is where we discuss both. We discuss the good things that you're doing and some of the things that you do that need to stop. Philadelphia has some things you better stop, but fast. If you don't stop it, I'm going to make my face red with your chastisement. You understand? I'm going to get dripping wet in your chastisement and correction. Everybody understands that metaphorically. All right? Every city is like that. You got some things you do great, some things you need to work on. In Philadelphia in particular, what you do great is camaraderie. You do camaraderie excellent down here. Give yourselves a hand. Since I'm in Philadelphia tonight. Philadelphia, even when I was coming up young in the truth, and I've been traveling back and forth and living in New York, Jesus Christ, I mean, 96 or 7 or something like that. And brothers from New York would always talk about how brothers in Philadelphia have so much camaraderie even back then, because every city has a spirit and it just doesn't change. It's how they are. Brothers even back then would tell me how brothers in Philadelphia just, you have excellent camaraderie down there. Actually, you love each other. You prefer to be around each other and be with each other. But you have some problems down here in Philadelphia as well that you should fix before I make myself soak in wet. You should fix it. You should get it together before I am dripping from head to toe. Does everybody understand? Well, this is what we're reading about in the book of Revelations. We're reading about this school, what they do right and what they do wrong. Go ahead and read.
In the dictionaries or
First read the scripture, then read the dictionary. See me one more time, please, Nakar. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 6. But thou hast.
Read it from the top.
The book of Revelation chapter 2 verse 6. But this thou hast, that thou hast the deeds of the Nicolaitans.
You read above it, the good part. Read the good part, then read the bad part.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 4. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee.
Above it.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 1. unto the angel of the church of Ephesia, right?
This is the school in Ephesia. A church, by definition, according to the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, is a congregation of Israelites. That's what you'll read. All right, the water word. In the school or the church in Ephesia. Keep going.
These things saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand.
Who is he that holds the 7 stars in his right hand? Jesus Christ. Who are the 7 stars? The 7 angels over these 7 schools. And they're named by the city that they're in. It's like the school in Philadelphia, Houston, New York, Chicago. Everybody gets it. Keep going.
Who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks.
Christ is the one that walks in the middle of the 7 candlesticks, because that's where the Most High's throne is. That's where that candlestick is. Keep going.
Verse 2. I know thy works and thy labor.
He knows their work. They work hard. This school in Ephesia, they work hard, brother. These are not lazy men. They work hard. Keep going.
And thy patience.
And they're very patient men that can wait, which is a skill that many men don't have. Keep going.
And how thou canst not bear them which are evil.
And these men cannot bear someone that's evil. They can't stomach it. That's a good trait for a school to have. That's excellent. Some schools, they can take a little evil. You know, if a person is evil, it doesn't make them sick. They'll allow that person to be around them. They'll try to deal with them or work with them. But this school in Ephesia, if you were evil, you had to get the hell out. And that is an excellent trait. Keep going.
And thou hast tried them, which say they are apostles, and are not.
And when someone tries to say they are an apostle, meaning they represent Christ, this school tries those people up. They put them on trial. They look at their actions and they judge them. They look at Farrakhan, fake Israelite groups, Martin Luther King, and they try them like you do like a prosecutor tries a defendant. And that's an excellent trait. Excellent. Keep going.
And are not, and has found them liars.
And you find that when they judge them, they find them guilty. They find them liars. That's an excellent trait, an excellent attribute of any school to have. Keep going.
Verse 3. And has borne and has patience, and for my name's sake has labored.
They have bear, I mean, they can bear a burden, and they're patient. And for the name of Christ, they work hard. The school in Ephesia. Keep going.
And has not fainted.
And they don't give up. They don't faint. They don't fall weak in Ephesia. Keep going.
Nevertheless.
Say that one more time.
Nevertheless.
Say that again.
Nevertheless.
Say that again.
Nevertheless.
Even though they have all those wonderful qualities, which are good. Even though, nevertheless, keep going.
I have found somewhat against thee.
He still has some problem with them. Some issue they need to work out. Like every school, like Philadelphia. Like every school, something that you have wrong, something you got to fix. You have wonderful qualities, but then you have other qualities that you better hurry up and fix. Because not everyone is patient. I pray you understand. Keep going.
Because thou hast left thy first love.
Because they left their first love in Ephesia. They left it. Keep going.
Verse 5. Remember, therefore, from whence thou art fallen.
Remember from where you have fallen. You were here. This is where your first love was. Right here. But then you've fallen from that. And you left your first love. Keep going.
And repent.
And repent. You should change, which is what repent means, to change. To examine yourself the same way we go out in the street and there is no one in the UPK that does not understand going out and talking about Martin Luther King, talking about Farrakhan, fake Israelite groups, the Christian church, the Muslim mosque. But this school needs to look at themselves. They need to all go. They tried false prophets perfectly. They know how to check a false prophet. They know how to try him and find him a liar. But they've fallen off. when there comes time for them to look at themselves. They've fallen from their first love. That they don't do so well anymore. Keep going.
And do the first works.
And do the first works. The things that you know are bedrock to just being in the school, to being in the truth. And there are certain things that you knew them because when you first come in, my God, you understand what it is and you know how you have to be and you're zealous about it. And you still are zealous when it comes time to check Christians for what they're doing wrong. And to check Muslims, oh my God, you do that better than anybody. I just get that. But when it comes time for you to check yourself, that you've fallen off from. And that was your first love. To be able to go, I'm changing this. I'm changing that. I'm not doing that anymore. Mom, I'm not doing that. Job, I'm not doing that. Oh my God. Imagine a brother, a sister first in the school and how they just were ready to totally be different and change. Then over time, they fall from that. They're more ready to check other people about their flaws and less ready to check themselves. Keep going.
Or else I will come unto thee quickly and will remove thy candlestick out of this place, except thou repent.
Let me tell you, this is something hard for most people to understand. For me, because of what I've seen, what I have seen, it's very easy for me to understand. I am a 12-shield general in the Israelite School of UPK. When I came up, there were so many other 12-shield generals. There were so many other people sitting right where I'm sitting right here. There were so many of them, Rawborn and Rakar War and Shaquat Gabar and Haradapia. And to me, they were like, angels. They were people that would, just to be around them was like, oh my God, look at that cat. Look at what he's doing. Look at how he's dressed. Look at what he said. Oh my God. And they're gone. And I have never been under any illusion that this school cannot go on without me. I know for a fact it can, because it has went on better without them. Better. What you should always remember is that this school will be better without you. The school does not need you. So many bitches online. You see bitches that leave the truth and go online and talk about brothers in the school. Who knows what I'm talking about? Oh my God. There's bitches on Facebook out. They go on Facebook. They left the truth 7 years ago. And they still are arguing and talking about the school. And I guess they thought that life would stop when they left, but it didn't. It just doesn't. The school just moves on. Everybody that you thought you were so integral in the school and you mattered, and you just don't. You'll just leave. There'll be somebody else sitting where you're sitting. Somebody sitting right there. I've seen it too many times. You're great and everybody needs you and they love you and they salute you. And then you're gone and there is another man sitting right there. And over time, I really forget who's sitting even there. It's just the same to me. All right. Don't ever forget that. All right. The Lord will just come and remove your candlestick. You just won't be there anymore. And the school will just grow and be better. And who cares? It was like you'll mean nothing. You'll be like your father. You'll be him. Just another working stiff who came, had sex with a few broads, made a couple of babies, and when he's dead, who even knows he was ever here? That will be you. I pray you understand. I'm sorry, please.
For the precepts of this scripture be Matthew 7 verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
With the B and the I.
Let's hear it.
This is the book of Matthew 7 verse 3. And why beholdest thou the mote and that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thy own eye?
The only different part would be the brother part. This school knows how to check false prophets who are not people in the truth. The brother is speaking about the brother sitting right next to you. You understand? That's the difference, but the same sentiment. That is true. All right, go ahead.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 6. But this thou hast.
Let me know when it's 8:35. Go ahead.
But this thou hast, that thou hast the deeds of the Nicolaitans.
This is what you do have. The deeds of the Nicolaitans. Someone look up Nicolaitans in your Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Go ahead.
This is the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, page 586. Nicolaitans, a group of persons whose works both the church at Ephesus and our Lord hated, and whose doctrine was held by some in the Pergamene church. Nothing else is sure known about them.
This is missing something. Look up another precept for Nicolaitan. Look up one more precept. If not, I'll give you exactly what it means if you can't find it, all right? Keep going.
Shalom, sir.
Come on.
In verse 15,
Mm-hmm.
it says, So hast thou also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate.
That's solid too. I'm just trying to get a little more. If not, I'll explain it to you based on the context. But do what? All right. If you can just find one, come on.
It's a little bit more. It says their doctrine was similar to that of Balaam.
Now here we go. This is what I'm waiting on. Read it one more time.
Their doctrine was similar to that of Balaam,
Mm-hmm.
through whose influence on the Israelites ate things sacrificed to idols and committed fornication.
Here we go. That's all. That's what I'm waiting on right there. Their doctrine was similar to the followers of Baal. What were the followers of Baal? What did they do? They ate meats offered unto other gods. And they believed in what? Read that last word again.
Sir. That of Baal, through whose influence the Israelites ate things sacrificed to idols.
Because of the worshipers of Baal, the Nicolaitans were just like the followers of Baal, right? Which is a famous false god in the Bible. They ate things offered unto idols. What's something offered unto an idol? A Christmas dinner is offered unto an idol of the Christmas tree. That's the idol of Christmas, right? The wreath on your door, the presents that you're willing to go broke over and risk your entire existence over buying these gifts. That's idol worship. And the meat is the Christmas dinner. The Thanksgiving dinner is the food offered so that white people, so that oppressors could celebrate the slaughter of the North American Indians, so-called. The turkey and the stuffing and the cranberries, right? Halloween candy, right? The big feast that your child has when they come in the house and they got a big bag of candy filled with fentanyl and razor blades. And you still say, good job, baby, good job. Eat up. Eat it all. Right? Those are the feasts offered unto other gods. That's exactly what the Christians do today. The same thing. Meats offered unto other gods, Valentine's Day, that's coming up soon, right? A lot of you dumb bitches out there, what are you going to say? If he doesn't get me a box of chocolates, he doesn't love me. Here's the problem. Jerome, who sits in the cubicle next to you, he's going to buy a chocolate for your wife. Oh, man, so many adulterers are going to have sex with your wife on Valentine's Day. Ooh. Valentine's Day is where an adulterer really gets healthy, on Valentine's Day. Why? Because you can go buy that one rose out, come to that job. Oh, but raise your hand if you were an adulterer and you did this in the past. Put your hand down. Because everybody has done this. You working with the woman, y'all talking. You basically her work husband already. Y'all laughing. Oh, every joke is funny on that job, isn't it? Ooh, that job is like the comedy hour, isn't it? There is nothing more funny than a married woman and a man on a job. The comedy mayak is just coming out the walls. Oh, she's hilarious. Oh, he's hilarious. And then she slapped your knee over the cubicle. She slapped your knee. That's when you know I got this mother. When she reach over and go, oh, yeah, man. Like, yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? Real funny. And then Valentine's Day comes in. You buy, what do you get? One single rose, $5. They still $5? No, how much they cost now? $5. So five because of inflation. It's $5.25. $5.25 right now. You hand it to her. She's having sex with you. She's doing it. She's doing it because she's lonely and stupid, and she was desperate to be with a man, and now she's desperate to get rid of one. It's like every other dumb bitch. Desperate. Alexa, who wants divorce more, men or women? Alexa, who asked for divorce more, men or women?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, women file for divorce more often than men. Did that answer your question?
Thank you, Alexa. That's what I thought you would say. Yeah, the same woman like, I got to find a man. I need a man. I got to have a man. Alexa, what percentage of marriages are asked for by a woman?
From CNBC.com, of the estimated 42% of marriages that end that way, most are initiated or co-initiated by women, as much as 69%, according to research out of Stanford University.
Alexa, when it comes to women or men, which one wants to get married more?
I don't know that.
You better research that. Because I think I know the answer. I think I know who wants a ring, who's desperate to get a ring, who's looking to get married, who wants to get into a church and buy an expensive dress. Women are desperate to have a marriage ceremony and get a ring. And then they are desperate to get a divorce. Desperate. Mayak.
A whole Bridezilla series.
I've never seen it, but I've heard about that Bridezilla.
Yeah, they're ready to get divorced before they get married.
So of course on Valentine's Day, also brothers, don't say Valentine's Day. Don't embarrass us, all right? It is not Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day, named after Bishop Valentine or whatever that fool's name was. Valentine, not Valentine's. That's incorrect. Everybody understands, all right? So you give her a rose up, she's going to whore with you. She's going to do it. The feast of Valentine's Day is the candy or the cake or the chocolate or blah, blah, blah. So that's the belief of the Nicolaitans. One more thing. After the meat offered unto idols, what else is it?
And committed fornication.
Committed what?
Fornication.
Committed what?
Fornication.
Oh, you know what that is, don't you? All right, that's unlawful sex. What's fornication? Child molestation, alternative lifestyles, a man sleeping with another man's girlfriend. You understand? So I can make it very simple for you. A man sleeping with another man's girlfriend is fornication. A woman sleeping with any man other than her man, if she has a man, is fornication. The Nicolaitans supported that. What can you compare this to today? The hypocrisy in the Christian church. The Christians love God, love Jesus, love his holy name, but they are going to have sex with whatever they want to have sex with, and they are going to eat every meal that is celebrated, period. Done. They're not missing breakfast for God. They're not missing lunch or snack for God, ever. A Christian never misses a meal for God in any way. Done. Come on. For what? All right. This is the Christian church. It's hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is what we're talking about now. Believing in God, but still satisfying your own lust, even though you believe in God. Believing in God, but still satisfying your own devious sexual desire, even though you believe in God. You fell from your first love. When you first came in, you were ready to change, wanted to change something, wanted to give it up, wanted to lose it. After a while, you start smoking weed again. You start smoking cigarettes. You go on Facebook and start looking for the same old sluts and whores like the ones you had to have in the world. You women, you wanted a man so bad that will stay with you the rest of your life. Now you got one. Now you're ready to leave him like you left your baby's daddy and you left 1,000 other men. Here you go again. right? Being the person you've always been. And the minute I find out about it, I'm going to be drenched in righteous correction. Everybody understands. Next question. Oh, 8:35. Let me get into my topic. Clap it up. All right. Now, today there was a mass shooting that happened today. In the Asian community, there was an Asian dance studio. Come to find out, this is real big among the Asians where they dance or have ballroom dancing, right? I think it was in Los Angeles, right, in LA. And the man was also Asian. He met his wife at this Asian dance studio. He went bug nuts crazy, got a gun, his own gun, went into the dance studio and killed 10 people in this dance studio. Then he left that dance studio, went to another dance studio, tried to kill people there. Some Asian man was brave and became a hero. Stepped up, grabbed the gun from him, took the gun, pointed the gun at him. The Asian man ran out of the dance studio, got in his van where he had another handgun. The police, because they now had the gun that the Asian man wrestled from him, they traced the serial numbers to the gun's owner. They found him, and they found the car registered in his name, a white van. They found the white van. They approached the white van with, space-age science fiction tanks that they had, and they heard one gunshot, and he killed himself in the white van. That happened today. That Asian man that snatched that gun is a goddamn hero of the Asian community. He is a hero and did what you better do in that situation. He stepped up and he grabbed that gun. And if he didn't do that, that Asian man would have killed 100 more Asians in that dance studio. And he was absolutely right to do it. And he is a hero among the Asians for doing it. Everybody understands that. Give him a hand. He did the right thing. Now, of course, this is something that is just a plague that is happening in America. It's very specific to America, mass shootings. In other countries, they kill people for a reason. Even in Mexico, where they have so many drug wars, and Colombia, it's for politics or power. But mass shootings in America are not because of politics and power at all. Researchers have researched where they come from. And then I will show you who you need to blame for the next mass shootings and where they actually come from. You have the one I sent you, Ak, about the mass shootings.
Mass shootings can be contagious, research shows.
Read that again.
Mass shootings can be contagious, research shows.
Like everything in life, Ak, some scientists has researched it. And mass shootings have been happening, my God, since I was young. Since Columbine, I think. That's the earliest one I remember. Columbine. And that was a long time ago, right? So they've been researching them since then. This is what researchers have found out. They're contagious. They're contagious. Keep going.
There were 3 high-profile shootings across the country in 1 week. The shooting in Guilford, California on July 28th, and then back-to-back shootings in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio this past week. That's no surprise, says scientists who study mass shootings. Research shows that these incidents usually occur in clusters and tend to be contagious. Extensive media coverage seems to drive the contagion, the researchers said.
Read that one more time.
Intensive media coverage seems to drive the contagion, the researchers said.
I didn't write this. Scientists wrote this who study the phenomenon. Intensive media coverage drives the contagion. Who knows what that means? Break it down for me.
Is it trying to say that the media is part of the problem?
The media causes mass shootings. That's what scientists say. It causes them. It influences them. The media goes to a mass shooting and they go to there and they talk to the people and they see the flowers lined up outside and they show the face and the name of the person that did it. which gave this person fame. Now they're famous. The police line up behind, a stack of microphones. The chief of police, the mayor, everybody steps up there and they talk about it. And it's on the news 24 hours a day. Scientists say that causes them. And they still do it. You want to stop mass shootings. And there are so many different things about gun laws. California has, draconian gun laws. And this still happens in California. Chicago, my God, you can't ever own a gun in Chicago. They still happen. The media and the way they pursue it and show it causes them to happen. If the news would stop showing it, then they wouldn't happen according to the scientists. Not according to me, according to them. If they would just stop showing it. And guess what? They don't show all the murder that happens. They don't show them. The cops are killing people all the time, and they don't show them. You'll never find out about it unless you go Google it. Cops murder people all the time. All the time. The few times you hear about it, that's rare. But it's happening every day. A cop killing somebody. The flu. You heard about the COVID-19 virus. You know what kills people? The flu. The flu is killing more children than you could imagine. What's the name of this disease, Maya? RSV? RSV is killing like 1 out of 4 kids. 1 out of 4 children is dying because of RSV. It's the COVID-19 virus to kids. The same exact thing is happening. Nobody ever talks about the RSV epidemic. Come on.
If I could, like recent months, it's been so bad that your kid can be there for 24 hours.
Brother, you take your kid to CHOP for something, you get ready to sit in that emergency room for 2 days. They don't have any beds because of RSV. This brother knows, but did you hear about it on the news? No one talks about it. Meaning the media can decide which death they're not going to discuss. Why do they keep discussing mass shootings? They don't talk about RSV. They don't talk about the flu deaths. They don't talk about all the people that the police are killing all the time. Why do they talk about this? Hold your point, because I'm coming to it. Give me one more thing up. Give me Silence of the Lamb. But I want the video first. I want the video. Whoever, raise your hand if you've seen the movie Silence of the Lamb. Oh my God, clap it up for Silence of the Lamb. That's an excellent movie. You can't beat Silence of the Lamb with the fava beans and the old crazy cat and the cat with the mask on his face. And it was an excellent movie. Well, this video is about the making of Silence of the Lamb. That's what this video is about. So stay with me on this, all right? This is back in the 90s or whenever they made it. This is talking to the people that made the movie. Do you know where to start from? All right, go ahead. He'll get it in 1 second. See me one more time with the chaser, please, in the car. The water.
Coal and steel background, and the fact that it has many hills and rivers, and it's just packed with character. There was a wealth of locations there that were unbelievable.
Pause.
Had never been filmed before.
They filmed the movie in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, about 8 hours from where we are right now tonight. That's where they filmed the movie. They're telling you why they chose Pittsburgh. All right, keep going.
The great monumental buildings that are there.
The Natural History Museum, the Soldiers and Sailors Museum.
All the other elements came together in the small towns around there, providing some of the West Virginia look.
Part of our tour in the early stages of researching was to go to all of the places that really might have been used in the story, and the FBI was one of them. And we were invited to go down there after they had read the script, obviously, and make sure that it was all up to.
After the FBI read the script, the FBI invited them down to Quantico, which is FBI headquarters and training facility. They read the script and they invited the cast to come to Quantico, Virginia, to film at Quantico, Virginia, and they were involved in the making of the movie. They helped them in the making of the movie. And I'm going to explain why right now. Keep going.
Their standards.
They view this film as a kind of a recruiting film for female agents.
Stop. Play that last part again.
They view this film as a kind of a recruiting film for female agents.
One more time.
The places that really might have been used in the story, and the FBI was one of them. And we were invited to go down there after they had read the script, obviously, and made sure that it was all up to their standards.
They viewed this film as a kind of a recruiting film for female agents, which at the time was a big issue for them. They thought this would be a positive force in attracting women to the FBI.
Stop. The movie Silence of the Lamb, the reason it's so great, so wonderful, and it's so realistic is because when the FBI read the script, they knew that if this movie comes out, more women are going to join the FBI. How do I know it worked? Go to the FBI website, Yedaya. Play the next clip. This is from the FBI's website. It's on their website. They knew, they read the script and they said, oh my God, they have a female agent that's tracking down this serial killer. We need more female FBI agents. We support this movie. We want to help this movie get made. Come to Quantico. We'll give you an inside look on the Behavioral Science Bureau of the FBI, which catches serial killers. We'll show you how we get trained because they view this movie as a recruiting tool to get women to join the FBI. Here's the FBI's website. Go ahead and read it.
The Silence of the Lamb business cards.
This is from the FBI's website right now. Go ahead.
Colonel Khan, sir. This set of business cards, one for Starling and one for Crawford, were one of many small props bring
Authenticity
to the set of the Silence of the Lamb.
They made business cards for him from the FBI, made in the names of the characters in the movie. Skip down to them talking about the movie.
Colonel Khan, sir.
Go ahead.
Colonel Khan.
Right here, before, after meeting with the right there, after meeting. After meeting, right there. Read from
After
it.
meeting with the film's director and producers, several FBI employees agreed to help with the film's production. They reviewed the movie script, corrected details and scenes, and played extras. A retired supervisory special agent even inspired the character of Crawford. Before filming started at the FBI Academy, FBI employees also prepped the cast. Foster met with female agents to inform her character. She received firearm training and attended new agent trainee classes. At the time, the FBI employees didn't realize the movie would become a blockbuster. They just hoped to promote the FBI's brand and recruit more women.
They just hope what?
They just hope to promote the FBI's brand and recruit more women.
This is a movie, though. What did the FBI know would happen if a movie, fictional movie, Hannibal Lecter is not real, it's fictional. But the FBI knew that if a fictional movie came out with a woman who was in the FBI, what would happen? Nah. Influence. Women would join the FBI. It worked. Record numbers of women joined the FBI. That's enough out. You can take it off the screen. You can look this up on your own time. Let me ask you a question. What do you think they know is going to happen with gangster rap?
Fuck, that drill music is tearing us apart.
Yeah. Biggie Smalls wasn't too good either. Tupac wasn't too hot either. NWA wasn't too good either. Brother, do you understand what this means? They know that movies and media makes you do the thing that you see in movies. They know it. They on purpose did it to get FBI agents. What else do they know? They know it makes more mass shooters too. They have to know. They know that if the movie comes out about a woman who's an FBI agent, we're going to get more FBI agents. They don't know what was going to happen with Scarface, Godfather, and New Jack City, NWA, Biggie Smalls, Tupac, 50 Cent, drill music, King Von, Chicago drill rap. They don't know. They do know. It's on their website that they know. Let me tell you, what's something I see that makes me so sick so many times is not just that King Von got killed, Nipsey Hussle got killed, this rapper got killed, but the amount of money that is generated with talking about how they got killed. All of the blogs and radio stations that will just be Nipsey Hussle crazy and King Von crazy. Give me somebody else that got killed. Any Chicago rapper that gets killed. What would these blogs talk about without this? How much money is generated because they got killed? How many media outlets get to talk about this constantly? The media has something else to talk about this week. 10 people got killed in California. And they're going to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. And according to the FBI, that kind of thing makes it happen. According to them, they know you're going to do it. They know that your music and your movies and your news coverage, I just read what a scientist said that it's contagious, mass shootings. If you want to stop mass shootings, let me give you the simple yet unorthodox thing you would have to do. Don't put it on the news. 10 people got killed today. 10 Asians got killed. Don't mention it. Don't put the person's face on the news. Don't give his name. Don't make him famous. There are people sitting in their mother's basement who are desperate to be famous. Don't make him famous. Don't talk about him. Don't bring up women FBI agents on movies. Then you won't have FBI agents. If you don't talk about mass shooters, you won't have mass shooters. That's according to scientists and the FBI. Well, what does gangster rap do? What does movies about murder and movies about killing? You know what's very popular right now? This kills me. If you got a wife, you know what I'm talking about. Because women love these. True life murders. Give me the names of those shows where they killing everybody on these shows, but they're real. Come on. I never heard of that one. First 48. But what's the other ones when they go? It's like they're killing somebody and the cops are going into it, and they're on every channel all the time now. There you go. Give him a hand. Forensic Files. Or the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Right? People in charge of America know that these movies cause you to do it. Why would they want this? I'll explain this last part, then I got to go. In 1969 or 70, the Black Panthers, I just recently came back from Oakland, California, which allowed me the privilege to be able to research a failed group of people who were sincere in their beliefs, but ignorant to God's commandments, the Black Panthers. And they were sincere in wanting, to have revolution in America and wanting Black people to not be killed. But what they were ignorant of is God's law and how cunning their enemy was. Commanding General Yohana is not ignorant of that. He absolutely understands. So I can tell you why you have a shot. I don't have time to show you this video because I got to go upstairs. But the American SWAT team came from the Black Panthers. You can look this up on your own time. Before the Black Panther Party, cops were Mayberry. You know what the hell I'm talking about. Cops were sheriffs. You get my point? Like one lone cop, he has a gun. He's saying hi to the people on the block in the community. Before the Black Panther Party, cops were not a military. They were security guards for a neighborhood. After the Black Panthers, cops became a military. The police unions used the threat of the Black Panther Party to fund the police force. Oh, and they got money. Oh, they got money to get tanks and robots and C4 and bombs, where they never could get this money because people didn't look at cops like they were the military. They were security guards for the block, and they waved hi to you when you walked down the street. But when niggers became a threat, the police used the Black Panther Party to fund the police force. Well, then after that, what happened? The war on terror, the terrorists. What did the police do with the war on terror? Fund the police department. The war on terror gave police robots. They got robots that the police got, dogs. Give me some police video of the dogs that'll come, robot dogs that'll come into your neighborhood and kill you, that they got from the war on terror, because the terrorists could attack Wichita, Kansas, which is nonsense. But Wichita, Kansas has $4 or $5 million to spend on robots because Osama bin Laden might come to Wichita, Kansas. Guess what else is happening? Mass shooting. Oh, the mass shooting, brother, is going to get cops. Science fiction tanks. This week in Atlanta, Georgia, the police tried to open up Copland. Go look this up. This is real. Copland. And they had a town they were going to build outside of Atlanta. There was going to be a realistic place where cops can be trained because of all of the police shootings, like Eric Gardner and Ferguson, Missouri. Because the police shot so many people, the police got more money for training. They got more money, and they opened up Copland outside of Atlanta, but they had to cut down all of these trees. Environmentalists said it's wrong to cut down these trees. They protested. During the protests, people in the protests burned down buildings and broke windows. The police killed some of them, and they rioted this week in Atlanta over their killing to build Copland outside of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm sure we're doing the story upstairs tonight. That's all but a guarantee. What's the point I'm trying to make? The people who are in charge of America know how to make more violence, and they create it. They do it on purpose because stopping violence, there's a budget for that, to stop violence. There's a budget. And they know, like, please play the video. This is a video or picture. That's a still shot. This video of these things. They all over Harlem right now. Jesus Christ. It's like the Minority Report down there. These things, you'll see these things on videos, 10 of them, coming out of a project in Harlem, in Spanish Harlem. They're all over Harlem, these dogs. What's the point? I got to get the hell out of here. The media, the government, they want you to do mass shootings. They want you to sell drugs, clearly. They want you to sell drugs, which is why drugs is illegal to do, but legal to talk about doing, which has always been strange to me. Like, you can't buy weed. There was years where you couldn't buy weed. Look at this shit here. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Play it one more time. Look at that. Look at that. Who wants to guess how much that cost? I already looked it up. I'll tell you. Take a guess, Knock. Dahlia, how much that cost? You said 20,000? I say again? 20. You got the number? Play it. Tell them the number. Come on. You see that police dog? They have them right now in Harlem, New York. Right now, they're going into the buildings, climbing up the stairs of the projects, going upstairs. Go ahead.
It's $300,000 per dog.
That's what I thought. $300,000 per dog. Where'd they get the funding for that from? Why? Who approved that? The government approved it. The city approved it. Because it's so much gangster things going on in Harlem. So many black people selling drugs. So many black people shooting each other. So many movies about black people selling drugs. So many songs about black people selling drugs. So many movies about black people killing each other. So many gangster movies with black people. One of those dogs cost $300,000. They got it. They're willing to spend it. The government wants you to be a criminal. They want you to murder people. They want you to do a mass shooting because the budget that they're going to get from these 10 people that got killed is going to be worth those people dying. In the back.
So like, sir, 300,000 just to build a dog, but they got to spend like another 300,000 to weaponize the dog.
Well, I think they found a way to get that money to secure it. I think they'll just talk about shootings and mass shootings and how dangerous it is, and then teach your son that it's good to listen to music like that, watch movies like that. Your son is going to do it, and then the budget will get increased, all right? You're a slave, and the only way to get out of this is to have an influence that comes from God, not from your environment. I pray you understand. With that, pass the class over to police officer, the car.